daydream. This is not a paid scene, this is not a porno, this is real life.
Yeah, so what's happening? Welcome back to another episode of, by the way, I'm changing the name. I called it, I used to believe in TV before, and that was the idea I was going with, but now I'm feeling like it's going to be called Enter Your Passcode. So yeah, watch out for the new episodes. It's going to be Enter Your Passcode. Yeah, this is the podcast, as it were. Got the new setup, better than the last time, hopefully. And yeah, we've got today's guest is none other than Miss Charlotte, who is an astrologer. Astrologist? Astrologer.
I hate the word astrologist. It's like called on, you're an astrologist. I'm like, I hate the ist at the end. It doesn't fit.
What's the difference?
It's the same thing apparently, but astrologer's like the more correct term, I suppose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because some people get confused, I think, between astrologist and what's the one?
Psychic?
No, there's another one.
Tarot reader? Palm reader? I get it all.
Cosmologist. No, that's the one. Is that
Cosmologist
different?
is like makeup and stuff, right?
Oh, I don't know. I feel like this is all...
Cosmetology?
Yeah. Cosmology?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, maybe.
I thought that was to do with cosmos.
I don't know anything. I just know about like the nerdy stuff. Yeah, like I'm an astrologist, I'm a nerd, so.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to be if you're going to be a good one.
But I mean, like, you are... I came across your stuff, I think, in Camden. And you do, like, you take people's... What is it, like... run me through that actually. Like, what is it that you do on your stall?
Okay, well, it's a shop now, but
It's a shop.
I have
Sorry.
a shop. I do fucking retail now, yeah. But basically, so I take someone's birth details, their exact time of birth, their place of birth, their date of birth, everything. And then I whip out their chart. So I put it into a system, like a computer thing, and it calculates everything, longitude, latitude, blah, blah, blah. And basically you come up with a picture of the sky the moment that person was born. And the idea is that it acts as both like a compass, a map to your psychology, but also to like what you know, your gifts and your talents and your weaknesses and your strengths. And it's like a compass and a map, and it's to guide you so you understand yourself and you understand what gifts have been bestowed upon you, and understand where you're meant to go. There are certain things in the chart that tell you where you've been in the past, what your past life was, and where you're actually going, where your soul needs to go so it can evolve. And yeah, so it's fun, and I always try to do it in a way that's healing, because people often come to me because they need healing, and religion's not doing it. Celebrities aren't doing it anymore. Hollywood is not doing it. Like, people are trying to access these things that make them feel better, and astrology just seems to be something that is available for all people of all backgrounds and cultures, unless of course they have a hang up about it. But generally, you know, I've got lots of people interested in it, and they just want to know themselves, and everyone, that's a human desire. So I find it like very comforting, and also just it helps humanity bind together, and that's why I like it. So yeah.
And when did you tap into it, first of all? When did it kind of catch you?
When I was like a child.
Like a kid?
Yeah, so if anybody's watching and you were a child that put like sticks in, you know, little girls, they get like, I'm sure little boys do it too, and you get like water and you put like sticks and shit in it, and you like make a soup, and you make a spell.
Yeah.
I was like that kid.
Okay.
So like I really loved like space and aliens and science. I did well at science. And I just remember thinking, you know, there's something else to this. Like, there's patterns, and I have Asperger's syndrome, so I see patterns. Like, I just, you know, have you watched A Beautiful Mind, and you know he sees the pigeons, and he can see the rhythms of the pigeons.
I haven't actually seen it.
You need to see this. I'm sure people know.
Who's that with again?
My boy Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe, yeah.
And he like plays this genius, and he can and then I remember watching this movie, and he just sees patterns everywhere, and I'm like, I do that all the time. And it wasn't until recently I found out I was autistic on the spectrum, and then I thought, oh my god, that's why I get astrology, that's why I love weird shit, that's why a lot of things haven't worked out for me, and why a lot of things have, you know, like, it's a gift and it's a curse. But yeah, I just I got into it because it was just one of those weird hobbies, and that no one believed in. People, like, I grew up Catholic, so it was like, it's the devil, it's the demon, it's all of that. And I thought, no, like, that's not what it is. It's You're literally looking at the sky and realizing how divine the world is. Why is the sky not considered divine? Why are we not trying to make sense of everything around us? And even before the establishment of religion, people were looking at the skies, trying to understand what it all means. And that's basically what I do. I just analyze the sky. And when you analyze the sky and you get really into astrology, you realize, oh shit, like everything's connected and everything has patterns, the patterns of nature, the patterns of light, the patterns of the sun and the moon, the orbits and everything's connected. And if we think of, I try to sell this astrology to people because most people think it's shit, but if you just think of the solar system as a mind, and we're inside a mind, we're inside a computer, and every single planet represents our psychology. So the sun is your ego, the moon is your secret self, the Mercury is your intellectual capacity, Venus is how you give and show love, Mars is how you fuck and how you approach life, right? So all these things, imagine they're in that energy, in that sign. The sign is how it is expressed. So you can see people's psychology, and you can see what the idea is that you can see what they're fated for and what they're in control of in a chart. And I just give people the information, whether they believe it or not. It's an analytical, you need analysis. There's a bit of intuition for sure, but I'm not a psychic. I'm intuitive, but I'm not a psychic. I don't sell myself that way. I'm just analyzing information. So whether or not you believe it, I don't care. I'm still going to provide this service to you.
And people, they often come to you with like real deep secrets, or like just general, like, oh, I'm having a bad day, or like
both. But a lot of people, every day is heavy for me because you have people with trauma. So if you look at their chart and you're like, I see trauma, and you're like, well, you tell them what type of trauma you see, and often I don't ask them what happened in your childhood. I just tell them, like, well, you probably had issues of boundaries in your childhood. Maybe you were attacked or abused as a child. Maybe you had your family was drug addicted. Daddy's gone, mommy's gone. One parent's insane, the other parent's a workaholic. You can see stuff like that. Yeah, just strange stuff. And most of the time I don't know these people. They've just walked into my shop and I'm just reading a chart because they just wanted 10 pounds, like a fun thing to do. And then
how do you see that in the chart? I mean, you're talking about drug, someone had a drug problem.
Oh my god, yeah.
How do you come to that from seeing someone's birthday? Because I'm completely not usually like involved in star signs or anything like that, but my mum is big into this kind of stuff as well, and I often find that females seem to be much more into this than men are. But I mean, from like your perspective, you're obviously, you see all this and this is what is real to you. So where are you grasping this from? Like, where is this?
So if you look at a chart, it's like reading a map, right? So you have like a wheel and you see like there's 12 pieces. It looks like a pizza, right? And each section, each pizza slice represents an area of their life and a stage of their life, right? So, and then the planets represent that psychology. So every time you see a planet that is in a certain house, I'm like, oh, that's where that bit of their psychology is the most expressed. Right? So I'll give you an example. If I'll give you my chart, I'll give you an example of my chart. So I have Asperger's syndrome, right? So it's an issue with communication and reading signals and relationships, right? I
know I'm breaking into this, but when, because you said that I know we're gonna have to jump back onto this, but you said that you got Asperger's and you said that now to us, but I mean,
I was diagnosed later. Yeah. I was late because I'm a girl, so I'm more clever. Girls with autism are more socially clever. Like, girls with autism can be better socially than the most neurotypical men. It's just a gift that autistic women have, is like, we can mimic, we can do accents, they make good actors. So women are actually better at pretending to be normal than autistic boys, because boys are not as wired for connection as women are. So if you take the brains of these two people, right, you take an autistic girl and you take an autistic boy, they're going to manifest generally very differently, right? So if you look at autistic boys, quite often, not all the time, they have more feminine characteristics. You look at autistic girls, they tend to have more masculine, like we're more male brains. So we're just like, we can fucking do it. Yeah, or like, just generally, it's a general statement. It's like not true for everyone, but like boys, because they're not as wired for connection, they don't need it as much, I suppose. They don't really give a fuck if people don't like them. It's like, oh, well, I like my trains and numbers and shit. So I just want to sit in my room and look at my numbers or look at my trains and be by myself and explore that. I don't give a fuck, most of the time. Girls are like, I'm different. There's something wrong with me. And I have all these weird hobbies. And I really want to connect with these other girls, but I'm not popular because I know there's something wrong with me. So I'm going to look at the popular girl and behave just like her and mimic everything. And that's what girls do. So that's how they learn how to not be autistic.
It's a strategy. It's like a different strategy that
different
girls
thing.
have to use in order to get ahead. Yeah, it's kind of weird, isn't it?
They're very smart. Women are very, just biologically, we're very intelligent. We're wired to love and to, even if you are an autistic girl and you're fucking weird like me, you're wired to want love, even though you're bad at it. Like, it's so sad. It makes me want to cry. You know, like, I just want love so much, and it's just so out of reach because of this gift, you know. So I might as well just fucking use it and read people's charts, because that seems to be how I make friends now.
Through astrology.
Yeah, because I'm good at it. Like, I love it, and even if I get something wrong, I'm like, well, I'm gonna learn something new all the time. And but yeah, like in my chart, back to what we were saying, like, how could I see autism in my chart? Well, it can manifest in lots of ways, but because I know myself, I've looked at my chart, I've got like a lot of, there's an area in my chart that indicates I have problems with relating to people. 7th house is other people. It's what you're attracted to. It's friends, it's dating. And I have Chiron, the planet of pain, in that house, in Gemini. Gemini's communication. So if you look at, I can look at this and I'm like, oh, that explains so much. But you need to know, it's like cracking a code. Like, astrology is like a code. You've got to know the archetypes. You've got to know like the 12 archetypes of the zodiac. You've got to know what they mean, their psychology. Then you've got to look at the houses and how they fit in. And then you have to, look at aspects. There's just so much to it. But if you learn the language, like you learn grammar and you learn like past tense and stuff, like, as you build your repertoire and your skills and learning, like, you can actually read it like it's a language, like it's a script or something. I'm like, oh shit, like I know what this is, and there's something to it. I've just spent a lot of time, like 20 years doing this. That's why I'm good at it. But most people are like, it's too hard. That's why you hire me. So,
do you feel like it's a connection, your connection to people? Because you said that there's like a distance when you've got Asperger's, there's like that distance between people. So maybe in a way, astrology's like connected you to people. You have now, you're able to connect with them on a level.
Because when I look at someone's chart, I know who you are and you can't hide from me. And you've just paid me to tell me your shit. So, and then people start crying and I'm like, did it. I'm like, I made you cry. So,
I don't know whether that's fucked up or
but it makes me feel good, because it means I made a connection with someone.
Yeah.
And that sometimes is really hard to do for me. Like, I think where I'm best at is like connecting with people in a work setting. Like, I think intimately it's quite difficult for me. It gives me anxiety. But when I have like rules and I have a routine and I have like a script, or I have something where I know a lot and I can help someone, then I feel confident, then the interaction is good. If I'm at a big party with lots of music and drugs everywhere, I get upset. Like, I get really scared, you know? And so it's just the loud music and stuff. So I have to be in a situation where I can control it. And I think astrology and having my own shop and my own business allows me to pick and choose who I can talk to. And I can tell people to fuck off if they're disrespectful, which has happened a few times. Get the fuck out. Yeah, like, people like laugh at you and stuff. Like, is this what you really do? Is this what you really do? I'm like, yeah, that's what I fucking do. I have 2 degrees. Fuck off.
Do you tell them that?
Yeah, I do. I'm like, well, sometimes I say things like, oh, is this what you do? Or this is shit. And I'm like, you know what? That's okay. Like, intellectualism is not for everyone. So like, you have to be fucking smart. You have to know Greek mythology, ancient Egyptian stuff, like Egyptian mythology. You have to know like numbers, and you have to know like angles, and you have to know like, you have to care about people too, and you've got to know the planets. You've got to know all this information, random shit that you can never use anywhere, and you use it for this, and it helps people heal. So
wait, you said you were you said you were a teacher before. That's like one of the first things you told me.
Yeah, I was a teacher.
You said you were a teacher for how long were you?
10 years.
For 10 years. That kind of it's like it almost informs you of all your knowledge that you say that you're putting together as well. You've got all this knowledge of all these different subjects.
Yeah, and I used to teach history, and I used to teach, like, I taught Greek mythology. I taught it in both literature. When I was teaching literature arts, I was teaching Greek mythology, and then I taught history and I taught Greek mythology as well, in that, you know, in 2 different like subjects. So like, I'm not saying I'm an expert. I don't have like a doctorate or a PhD in ancient history, but I did study it formally at university, like art history and cinema studies and literature. And then I took it into my teaching career, where of course I had to teach novels and movies and all these crazy things. So I take all of that, and pop culture as well. I love pop culture, and I'll bring it into my astrology, because I am teaching people when I do this. It's just something that I default to.
What do you, for example, what would you do if you're talking about pop culture and you bring it into...
Oh, when I'm telling people about their charts and I'm like, you know who has this placement? Johnny Depp. Yeah, he's fucked up. You're fucked up. Like, you know, I don't say that to people, but I'm like, okay, so there's a celebrity that has this placement. I'll give you an example. And then sometimes people say, oh, that's why I like that celebrity. Right? And I was like, yeah, because you have the same placement. You understand each other psychologically. That's maybe why you have that like, you know, feeling of like respect or obsession with that person's, because they have an element, like there's something in them that is identical to you, and you see, is it like a counterpoint? Like you see that in them, and that's why you're like...
There is, but that can work two ways, right? Because you can sometimes like a characteristic of someone, or you might come across a characteristic in someone that is similar to you, and that actually makes you dislike that person. You like don't know what it is. You don't know what it is, but you just don't like that person.
Yeah.
And then you realize, wait, I'm like that.
Yeah.
So it can work both ways. No?
Yeah. But if you're not accepting of your flaws, and then you see that flaw in someone, that's really hard to take, because it's like you hate yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
right. Oh, that's see when we do readings. I'm like, I say shit like that. I just like, it's like I'm not a psychic, but I like channel, and then I just hear so I look at someone's chart, and then there's something that's like coming through my head as I'm reading it. It's like I get into like a trance, and I'm like, oh, let's go. So, let's go surfboard on the stars and let me show you your shit, you know.
so like, just to clarify, like, are you a God believer then, or are you believing in a divine power or something, or is this literally just the stars that somehow are in contact with us in a way?
God is intelligence. God is not just light and good. God is not an institution. God is like beyond an institution. God is God is intelligence. I believe in God. I think God is energy. I think it's an intelligent, not being. Being isn't the right word. It's an intelligence that created us, that we can't get our minds around. We can't get our language around it, and it's impossible to conceive in this human state. And in order for us to fully understand it, we have to die. So that's what I believe.
Pretty bleak, yeah.
Not bleak. Like you're only going to know until you pass on to the next phase, whatever that is, right? But what I do believe, I don't know what God's form is. I don't think God has a form. I think God is like in everything. But I think, it's just because you can't perceive something with your naked eye, you can't touch it, you can't fuck it, you can't taste it, you can't whatever, it doesn't mean it's not there. Because that's why women like astrology, because women are so accustomed to being powerless that we know that there's something bigger than us all the time. And women are also born to take a soul from another dimension and pop it out of their vagina in reality. So that's a fucking power, right? So we're divine beings. We're very like abundant beings. We can literally make souls come out of us. And I think that's why women really go to astrology, is because it's like nothing makes sense. We're not powerful. We're hurt. We're in pain, and we're sensitive, and we're psychic, and we have fucking children. And it's like, we're just very powerful beings, and we're not in power. And that's the thing. And I think a lot of women just come to me and to my astrology shop because they're looking to make sense of stuff that doesn't make sense in this practical world. So,
and because the way you described it just a bit before, it's like you had like it's almost like there's something going through you and you don't know what it is, but that information is being passed through you, and then you're just giving it out as you see it.
I don't know where it comes from.
You don't know where that comes from?
No, I just know how to analyze a chart, and I know what angles mean, but there's something more, like when I'm talking to a person, like I'm a firm believer that when people have angels, and people have beings, or people have like guides, or whatever you want to call it, like they have some shit around them, right, that protects them. And I think when people are interacting with someone like me, who's a bit of a vessel, I know that sounds so awful and narcissistic.
No,
it's narcissistic, right, isn't it? But you know what I mean? Probably like someone,
I don't know. But maybe we all have a little bit of narcissism.
Yeah, like someone who's at least acting like a channel and trying to help people. Like I think, I like when I see a chart, like I see your pain. I see, like, I'm just like, oh shit, like I see why you came to me. Like, oh, it's just, I don't know why. I don't know this person. I know nothing about this person. And then all of a sudden I see a chart, and then I know everything.
So is it like that they come to you with a problem? Because it feels like, then isn't that, if you're only ever, they're people that come to you, they never just like, hi, I want to know something more about myself. Or do they literally said, who's fucking my wife, like, or who.
No, because I don't do tarot. I tell people straight off I'm not a psychic. Yeah. I'm just an astrologer. Yeah. I have some intuitive abilities, right? I'm not a psychic. I just have intuitive abilities and I use them for my astrology. I can't tell you what time you're going to get married or what color hair he has or anything like that. Most people that come to me are often, I'll be honest, young girls. It's like 12-year-olds, 11-year-olds, like they just want to come in and spend £5 in a little tiny 5-minute reading. Or I have like young women. A lot of them are like 17 to 23. They come in and they want to know who they are and they want to know if they're destined for love and they want to know what, like, big thing now is how do I make money, what's my career and what's my journey, what's my destiny. People just want to hang on to something where it's like, tell me what I can do to make this world a better place or make myself a better person, or everybody wants that and I can tell them that through astrology.
It's interesting though that you said that they're between the 12-year-olds and then the 17 to 23-year-olds, because it's in that age bracket that you're basically bored in the world and you're trying to discover things. Yeah. Whereas when you're probably late 20s, you're like, I know the world, I know what it's about, blah, blah, blah. And
then your Saturn return happens and everything turns tits up.
Well, it could be, it could go that way, or,
Well, things work out fine, but like you go through shit from 28 to 30.
Yeah.
You go through a lot of shit. So, but yeah, no, it's a fun thing to, and no matter what, like I always promise myself, like there is dark stuff in a chart, but I always want the person to leave like feeling like, oh, I feel good now. And that's what I aim for. Like I do aim for tears because that's good because it shows emotional intimacy. Yeah. But it's also, and people being vulnerable and they feel safe with you. But it's also like, I want you to walk away feeling like, oh shit, like I know what to do now. Everything's fucked up, but I can fix it. Like you want people to walk away feeling like they have power. And that's the thing astrology does, right?
Empowers people.
It gives you sovereignty over your soul. It's the one thing that isn't fucking regulated. They regulate everything. When I say they, like very powerful people, dark people, regulate a lot of shit. They regulate our money. They regulate well, money is just everything, isn't it? Like money, the world revolves around it. They control our money. They control our freedom. At the moment, it's our health. So if you have astrology, something that can never, and if it is, that's dark. If astrology ever gets regulated, that's fucking dark. So,
well, but I mean, like in what sense? Because like, there's astrologists, there used to be, I don't know if you heard of a Mystic Meg.
A Mystic Meg?
Do you know Mystic
I thought
Meg?
It was an insult people like threw around at like people like me.
The Mystic Meg was like the woman that was she was a woman.
I drink period blood, like that shit.
No, she was actual, like she had a slot on the TV.
Oh.
And she was called Mystic Meg. And did you get up? Are you able to get
was
up?
She
Mystic
right
Meg?
mad?
Show the picture.
The Mystic Meg.
Yeah, Mystic Meg.
Was she a bit mad?
She looked a bit kooky, but that was her thing. And then she would like give everyone. She'd be like, and this is now time for Mystic Meg. And Mystic Meg would like, I don't know, if you're gonna have a great day with this, with a slight tints of this.
Oh, I don't know about that.
And she would do that. That was her thing. And then she also had she ended up having like a slot in probably I think either the Daily Mirror or the Sun. And but she was like, that was like
she
a
was
British
famous,
institution.
right? Yeah, but here's the thing. This is something I need to talk about, because I think with the huge spiritual enlightenment movement, like, which is great, you have a lot of people on the YouTubes, on the Instagrams, on the TikToks thingies, those thingies. And it's a toxic place, and you have people, why are they on there? Oh, I want to spread good and harmony and like help the world and heal the world. Okay, fair enough. Okay. That platform is very appealing for narcissists, and I think spirituality and narcissistic people that are spiritually gifted exist, and they're toxic. And I think if you're chasing fame and
that's actually in a way.
That's why I don't trust this Mystic Meg. I don't trust it. You're in the Sun. That's owned by fucking crazy evil people, right?
But you said something that just kind of struck a. So spirituality and narcissism, in a way, they kind of. Sometimes they kind of go hand in hand.
They do.
If you think about it, since the beginning of time, like with Jesus Christ and having followers, is that not a little bit on a narcissistic kind of level in some kind of way? He's got followers and he says, I'm right, and if you want to be spiritually aligned, you follow the way I'm doing this.
Well, if we all trust the Bible, everybody... Okay, I did in history degree, everyone. Can we just please look at King Constantine and his creation of the Bible? Can we please study this? Everyone, go home. This is for homework. Go study the Roman Empire.
What's the difference with the Constantine? I don't know.
Constantine, that Bible was written and edited by men that wanted to the Roman Empire was collapsing because they were originally polytheistic, right? They were pagan, right? They had many, many gods. In order for them to survive as the Roman Empire, they had to get rid of their paganism because they had all these like Christian cults running around and like at that time going, how do we control all these people that believe in this dude Jesus? How do we fucking control this? Because this is getting out of hand. They're not obeying us. We're having uprisings of everyone. And King Constantine's like, right, why don't we all just read from the same playbook? Let's get literally a book together. And let's get all these scriptures and all these stories and everything that everyone follows. Let's make a book that legally the Roman Empire, everyone can read, that is legal, and then we'll just get rid of our gods, and then we'll save our kingdom. We'll save the Roman Empire, which then became what? The Holy Roman Empire with a fucking Pope, guys. So, can we just go into history and actually look at why our holidays fall on those times? Why, and astrology is brought into it. You go to the Vatican, there's freaking astrology everywhere, yet it is banned, and yet the Catholic Church have I think they have 2 giant telescopes. 2 telescopes. Like, don't look at astrology, don't look at the stars, but we're allowed to because we got 2 giant telescopes, and we're gonna rape children. Yay! So let's just really think about this Holy Roman Empire, shall we? Can everybody just go home and do your fucking homework? I'm sorry.
No,
sorry,
it's classic, man. It's classic.
It's true though, because if you're a nerd, you get it. You just see shit, and astrology astrology is real. I'm sorry, it is. There's something to it. You can misinterpret it for sure, but there's something about these planets. There's something anyone that follows astrology right now, you would know that there is a big transit happening right now. A huge transit, and shit is going off. We're going to have huge advancements in technology and medicine. Huge. We're going to have there's going to be a lot of oppression, but there's going to be a lot of rebellion. A lot of truth is going to come to light. And it has a lot to do with the world powers and their, oh my God, we could get, I know the QAnon people are listening, but I'm not with you, but I love you, there's some shit that I'm just what? And I try to step back away from, because when you're an astrologer, you see the conspiracy theories, because you're trying to understand everything, so you've got to be open to everything. What are
you zoning in on? Because you were just about to reveal something.
Just this people that run the world, basically in a nutshell, people that run the world have secrets, and we're about to find out some of those secrets. Dark secrets.
Everyone's got secrets.
We're talking about very powerful people that run the economy and the governments having access to vulnerable people and doing things with them. So let's talk about war. Let's talk about trafficking. These are all issues. Mm-hmm. Women's rights, women's ability to wear whatever the fuck they want at school. That's being taken away. Mm-hmm. This is getting more and more Handmaid's Tale. More and more. And people oh no, the government would never hurt us. I'm like, are you fucking serious? This is the British government. They fucking hurt a lot. They like it. This is sport to them, right? Yeah,
or usually when a lot of bad things happen, it's because, and when they do it, this kind of exercising of power, it's usually to kind of hold on to the power. So they end up
they get more tyrannical.
More tyrannical, and people, but it's just kind of a slow process. I believe with these masks, it's kind of it's a slow process of saying, oh, it's for your safety. And then before you know it, you're getting the people themselves turning on each other saying, you should be wearing a mask. No, I'm wearing a mask because blah, blah, blah. And then you've got 2 people arguing
and then
with each other.
They both have you see both of their sides. It's just what, why? And then there's research apparently there's research to say that the masks don't do anything. I don't know how true that is, because I would think if something's on your mouth it works, but for some reason that's out there, people are just my rights, well, what about other people's health? It's turning people against each other. Mm-hmm. And ultimately this situation has not been handled very well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Australia's handled it very well.
Why is that? Unless it's female.
Australians do what they're told. Australians do what they're told. New Zealand, we have a lot more trust in our leaders. I think because we're younger countries, we've got a lot less we've got a lot less baggage. I mean, we murdered Indigenous people. That's a ton of baggage. Yeah. But outside of just the genocide of Native people, which is awful, and we need to pay for that too. Outside of that, it's a relatively young country. It's 200 years old. We haven't had a revolution. Neither have you guys, but you guys drink your fluoridated water and just obey everything anyway. But so Australians, there's not a lot to rebel against, because we all make money. most of us go to uni.
Like we get a decent amount of money as well.
Oh yeah,
right?
and we get paid well. Like everything costs a lot, but we got the money to, like, we got the salaries. Like as a teacher, my salary is much better. If I was going to be teaching here, the salary would be not as good. So like there's less to rebel because we have such abundance, and I think that's the thing. Like people that are not in positions to rebel because they have abundance and privilege, like I did. There's no reason to rebel because we got everything. Why should we rebel? That's my privilege, right? Yeah. So Australians are very privileged. They don't have to rebel. So they'll do what they're fucking told because it works. You know, like we don't need to. But at some point, like with every empire, you run out of resources, and then what do? You get tyrannical, and that's exactly what's happening in this country. Getting more and more tyrannical.
Back to the earlier topic that we were just talking about a moment ago. What's more toxic, self-preservation or the superhero complex?
What do you mean? What do you mean, Sloan? So repeat that. Sorry, say it again.
What's more toxic, self-preservation or the superhero complex that most people are having these days? Okay. In terms of what we were saying, with the whole idea of, well, you wear a mask because I'm wearing a mask to help you, but is that self-preservation or is that a superhero complex that people have just kind of got a bit misconstrued within the time frame?
I don't know.
Do you mean like an egotistical kind of way people are taking on the idea of the mask and imposing it on other people?
My idea of it is people are using the superhero complex for self-preservational reasons. So they're saying, I'm wearing this mask to help you. So listen to me, because I understand more so than so I understand more so than you. Yeah. But the idea is, do you really understand more? Are you just saying it just to preserve your own safety?
I think people will quite literally, they will take information and they will act on it immediately without thought, because I think maybe it's like a trusting as well. People are like so trust, like you're saying, people are so trusting of the government. It's like
so trusting. It's
like, wait, if they tell you they're giving you a vaccine that hasn't been tested for longer than a year, and vaccines take 10 years to develop,
at
and
least
you're
5.
5 years at the minimum, right? And you're telling me that they've developed a vaccine in under a year, and you're willing to take it, and everyone's just like, yeah, this is great, this is progress.
Jab me up, baby, jab me up. Who cares about my reproductive system and whether or not they've tested it on pregnant women that don't have any idea what the long-term effects are on our bodies? Who cares?
Yeah, who cares? Who cares? I mean,
no, but I love a vaccination. I love a polio vaccine. Give me the polio vaccination all the time, every day. Hepatitis. Give me all of it. I love it. I'm not anti-vaxxer. Shoot me up. But in terms of this, I'm worried. I'm a bit worried. And what I'm gonna do, if I can help it, I will just wait in the wings and watch what happens to everyone else that was so jabby happy. Like, all right, like we're going to send our daughters there. We don't even know what's going to do their reproductive system or their neurology, because apparently COVID causes you to lose your sense of taste and smell, which indicates that it does something neurologically to you. And you're going to inject that shit into you? Yeah, so can we just think clearly, please?
There was a drug in the 50s or something that mothers were taking, and it made the kids come out with like missing arms.
Really?
There was a thing, and loads of people. There's still kids now.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, still, and if you see them, because they have like a shorter arm or something. So, and I don't know if that was something to do with the drug that wasn't that was part. So it's like, you know what I mean? That's years later, right? Imagine what could happen. We might not see the effects of this vaccination for years to come, of what it actually,
and they don't want to even talking about it. They don't want us to talk about this shit, because it will make people think. It will make people think, wait, is this good for me? Is this safe? Is it like, I'm going to look at information right now? Information is restricted. It's just like, we are living in a George Orwell novel. Like,
we're here. We preached 1984. I've been saying this for the last year constantly, but obviously every time you say something like this, someone goes, stop with the conspiracy. It's like, it's not conspiracy, man. Like, this is literally where we're in it. We're in 1984 now. This is, they're watching everything that you...
Brave New World, bro.
This is it. Brave New World. This is here. Like, I don't know what this we're not moving towards it anymore. We're basically there. But I'm surprised as well that like I was gonna say, jumping back to this the astrology.
Well,
thing.
astrology is always connected to everything.
But like you've got people as well coming up to you even during this fake pandemic thing. As far as I'm concerned, anyway. But like the people willing to come into close contact with you, and
not at the moment. We're tier 3, so everything's online. Zoom, Zoom recorded readings. But people do come into my shop. I make them wear masks.
Mm-hmm. So you're talking to them with a mask.
They have a mask because it's my area, and I pretty much eat there and live there. Like, it looks like a living room, right?
Yeah, I've seen it. It looks quite. Maybe I should get a picture of the thing and put it on the green screen when I edit this together.
This is my shop. But it's people do come in. A lot of them are young girls and have strong immune systems. So all the people I don't see elderly people, and not that I don't want to. A few people who are older come see me, but a lot of it's just like young women and young men that want to just look at their chart because they go online and it's not enough for them to just read about it. They need to see an astrologer. You need to see a skilled astrologer so that you can understand your chart. In regards to people coming to see me, they wear masks, so they're safe, I'm safe. I can't teach and I can't speak when I'm covered up. Like, it's such a verbal job and it involves me not having any restraints. I have Asperger's anyway, so I fucking hate wearing it. I'm like, I want to rip it off my face. But if they come in, they wear masks, and I tell them I don't particularly care, but it's just follow the law because I don't want a £10,000 fine. And so I'm just following the law. So everything's legal.
It's almost like there's an irony with if you said that you've got Asperger's and the whole vaccine thing, because that comes into conversation a lot. When you say vaccine, they said that it's caused autism, it's caused Asperger's.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know, because I know that autism is hereditary. That's how I know it, because if you look at people in my family, no one's been formally. I've seen people, like, I've got a special check for this, so yes, but I have a feeling my dad has it. Like, he's a weird, really sweet, odd guy. Like, he's just he wears his socks so high. He's just a bit, he's got lovely.
Asperger's. Those socks are just way too high.
He just wears long socks, like, and he's just like, he has weird little hobbies and like weird little interests that, and then my mum, I think my mum had mental illness. I sometimes question though if she has a little bit of autism there, but it could just be like mental illness. I have my uncle who is beautiful man. My uncle, my dad's brother, classic. He's just very typically autistic. Loves trains and numbers and shit. So
that's 3 people in your family who possibly have autism.
Yeah, and my paternal grandmother, so their mother, who had a lot of social adjustment issues, problems with related, just very similar to me. I'm like, I hear about her, and I'm like, she's me. But she's dead. She's me. She's like got a lot of problems. Yeah.
Do you know it's I've looked into autism a little bit and what maybe the causes of it, and there's this idea that if you have a kid when you're older, the kid is likely to have. There was a kid in my school, and he had like heavily autistic, and his mum and dad were like, I remember them being old.
Yeah.
It was like maybe they were about 50 something, but when you're a kid, everyone looks old anyway.
Most parents are 20s and 30s, like they're young. And then
these guys were definitely 20 years older than everyone, and he was autistic.
Yeah, well, I know Donald. Is Donald Trump's son has Asperger or autism? He look at the kid.
He's got like a one who's like an adult.
Apparently he's gifted. Apparently Donald Trump's son is really, really smart, really, really gifted, but he's not that great socially. And one of the reasons why Melania didn't move into the White House straight away was because she had to look after her son. She was also negotiating her prenup. Smart. I love her. She's you marry a dickhead billionaire and you renegotiate that fucking marriage contract, that prenup. Yes.
She's proper worked her whole life to get that whole.
She worked for
that whole setup has been
She's brilliant.
I
respect that. She's Capricorn,
She's a Capricorn.
Oh, she's Capricorn. She's super ambitious. Yeah. She did that, but her son's autistic, and I just. It's funny when you watch him. I'm so glad he has a private life because you don't want to see any child suffer, even though their father's like a bit of a dick. You can see that he's a bit. It's funny, I was looking at footage of him when he was 11, and just like his face, like the way he would, I just felt it. I was just like, there's something up with that kid. Not that it's a bad thing. I think he's just special. I just think he's got special abilities. Apparently he does. He's got special abilities, but he's like a bit socially underdeveloped or something, you know? But yeah, good for her. Good for her. And that boy, like, she took care of that child. So people need to stop hating her as much as they do.
People just want to hate her, one, because she's Donald Trump's wife, and then two, because like
she's pretty.
Yeah, that she's kind of hot, and she's like, you know, she's not your.
She's a negotiator.
She's not just like bland looking old woman who's the wife to the thing. She's like, she used to be a model, like, you know, she's like, that's it's different. I don't think people want to accept that somewhat. So they just go straight to the, I hate Donald Trump and I hate his wife too. I hate millennial.
No one should be hating anyone. You shouldn't hate Donald Trump. I feel bad for Donald Trump sometimes. I'm like, you didn't have a fucking chance to be a good man when you could have been. Because he could have been a good man. He could have been a really good man. He's got placements where he can be very compassionate. I've heard stories of how compassionate Donald Trump has been. But then he just does some fucking illegal, sleazy, rapey shit. And you're like, why, man? Like,
rapey shit? What?
Grabbing... What did he say? He's clearly sexually harassed someone. At least once, you know?
See, that whole notion, I've always been, like... I've tried to explain this one, and it never comes off well. And anyone who
just say it.
But, like, the whole idea of locker room talk, like, that's girls have got to kind of get their heads around this one. It's like, and there's a lot of research as well behind this. It's like, men talk in a brash way. It's just how we communicate, and we do it not because we're just like assholes and we want to kind of belittle
peacocking,
women.
right?
It's actually where we connect. We say, "Hey, what's up, dickhead?" And the other one goes, "Yeah, what's up, arsehole?" And it's a good way. Whereas when females do that, they don't, like, it doesn't click as well.
Hey, babe! Oh my god, I love you! Oh my god, I missed you!
2 seconds later, they're like, "Bitch."
No,
right?
I'm not like that. I'm
well,
not
a lot of
like
girls
that.
are.
No.
I don't know about that, man.
Women love each other. I feel like that's something men made up
far-fetched.
to actually turn us against each other, so they became the prize and we're not anymore, and we have to fight over them, when really in nature, like, women are supposed to be the ones like judging you when you have all the numbers and we're like, nice feathers, peacock. Yeah, I'll mate with you, we can have babies.
So you're saying the women are supposed to have the choice?
Well, that's how it is in nature, isn't it? Like, men are designed to, they're big and strong and they're designed to do shit. They're designed to protect and to, like, kill for you.
Yeah.
Really?
Men are meant to, like, protect their children.
Does that
right?
apply to, like,
evolution?
Mantis? Does that apply to...
Oh, no, this is primates.
Just men.
Primates
okay.
and, so we're primates, right?
Yeah.
So, like, humans, primates. Not insects.
Not just like the whole
No.
spectrum of animals.
No.
That's primates.
Some insects are, like, straight up, like, homicidal.
But
like,
insects, so a lot of them just fucking eat their babies.
I know, like, they eat their heads and stuff, but in terms of, like, primates, like humans and chimps and monkeys and stuff, like, the male, and even dolphins, whales, if they're in pods, male mammals are designed to protect children. They're designed to protect the spouses and the children that they have, because that's your fucking genetic, like, that's you, like, you have to protect your seed, right?
Yeah.
So men are designed to do that, and then
but they put seeds in
many
women.
We're all meant to be hoes.
So,
we're all meant to be hoes. Like,
well, the females, man.
Yes,
all
women are
females
also meant to be hoes. You know how women scream when they have orgasms? It's to attract, like, I'm coming! You need to come over here, John, because Robert's almost done. Come over here. Like, it's meant to be like that. Men are meant to hear us scream and wail. It's like that thing, like, oh, she's fertile. I could, like, get more babies. Like, yeah. So, like, yeah, women are
maybe.
But men are meant to protect. They're meant to protect. Men are meant to protect us.
Yeah.
Men are meant to, like, that is the highest thing a man is called to do, is protect life. Right?
But now there's a new feminist kind of thing going on, which says a woman can protect herself and she doesn't need a man. And
I know, because
what's with that?
Because we're not safe, because we're vulnerable, and, like, I've been abused, and, like, after a while, when you have enough men exploit you for whatever it is they want to exploit you for, because you have a system where men are in pain, and people that are in pain, when you're hurt, you hurt, and I think men hurt. I think men hurt a lot, and it's not manifesting as self-awareness, it's manifesting as abusive behavior or just meanness or whatever. I'm not saying women aren't capable of this, because they fucking sure are, but I'm just saying that, like, you know, like, a man's highest calling is to protect the thing that he loves and his children. Like that is what that's meant to do. And I think with feminism, the reason why it's very angry, a lot of angry women and a lot of angry feminists, and I have been one, I think I still am sometimes, is because we've been failed. Is because we've been hurt, we've been failed, we've been raped, or we've been robbed, or something has been taken from us, and we're in a system that allows that thing to be taken without any sympathy, without any compassion, and that turns you into what? A fucking Athena warrior, where you're gonna fight for your dignity and your health and your wealth and everything. And because men are the ones that often have taken it, you're like, well, why I fucking need you? I could just do this myself. And then that's why you have that mentality. And it's just so sad, because I think men need healing. I think men need love. Men always need love. That's the thing that they crave. That's why they like this. That's why they're so sex obsessed, because that's men feel through their physical body. They're physical creatures. They're very earthy, you know, like they're practical. And
yeah, men are very like.
They have less synapses in their brains too, so they're very simple.
Yeah. Well, we're very destructive. we can be. Well, there's like claim. Well, how many like people? Was it the like the Columbine shootings and stuff? It's just like men who go and shoot up school, all the kids, the boys, right?
Yeah.
So when we're lacking in love or stuff like that, we end up, like you say, doing this very destructive behavior, you know. But females, I think they express it in a different way.
We do. If you Queen Bees and Wannabes is a book, and that was turned into a film called Mean Girls.
Is that what it's from?
Yeah, Queen Bees and Wannabes was the book, and it was turned into Mean Girls, and it was really interesting to watch that, because I think people are like, oh, women just bitch and this shit. I'm like, men do the same thing. I've seen men be really fucking mean to each other. It's like, what the fuck? Like, so we both do it.
No, but we do it to the face more. Like if we talk behind the back, there's usually, unless you, well, the phrasing, to be honest, when you act like a little bitch, that's when you're like, you know, you're doing stuff in a way that you're not being upfront, if you know what I mean. So, but to use that term, that's what I mean when I say if you're acting like a little bitch. Not like it's the way men. I can't remember now. I'm tracing back now, but like men are are more
upfront with their criticism. Like, hey, bro, you fucked up, right? Women are very socially intelligent, and we have a lot more dynamics and a lot more structures. And if you do something that fucks up the structure, then you're just, especially if you're a teenage girl, like a lot of tweens and teen girls, like that's why they suffer so much, is because there's a lot, like your brain's forming and you're just learning about your body and you're learning about dynamics. And like, I was autistic, so I was fucking hopeless, but like you go through a lot as a kid. Like, I was a teacher and I've seen it, and let me tell you, boys and girls are equally as like nasty as each other. It just manifests differently. I think girls are much more socially dynamic and a lot more, it's a quiet kind of power, whereas boys, it's often physical, and there's an intimidation, like that they'll, you know, there's like a physical, or there's a physical intimidation, there's also a psychological element to it. Girls are just much more like, they're like water, you know, like they're is much more quiet and much more sophisticated as well. I think men are less sophisticated when it comes to acts of war on each other in a social environment. Girls are much more effective and strategic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
no, they are. They're
not dumb. Women are not dumb. They're highly intelligent beings with a lot of synapses in their brains. So
they're also quite cunning as well. The women can be quite cunning, you know.
Oh yeah, it's one of our greatest qualities.
So you know how they can get in a man's mind, and I find this that as well, especially in school where you've got these kind of politics within school, right? There can be guys that can turn on each other in terms of wanting to have a fight with each other, but they're not doing it because they're mad at the guy. They're doing it because some girl is actively got inside of that boy's head and tried to make them feel more masculine by like saying you need to basically act like a man.
What kind of girls did you know?
I'm telling you, this shit happens. Huh?
Sometimes.
No. This happens. As in, like, let me give you an example. So
therapy, isn't it?
I've seen it often. So like, I did this little hustle like a couple of years ago, right? And I was doing this thing where I sell like alcohol bottles on Primrose Hill, yeah. And I'm telling you, and this is on like New Year's Eve. I got pretty much no trouble, right? Apart from young teenage girls. I don't know what it was, yeah. There's these young little scatty, middle-class little scatty teenage girls, yeah, who thought they had a little drink, yeah, and they were trying to steal little drinks from my thing, and I'll just be like, try and put. They think they were being funny, yeah. Like also, right? And they're teenagers. But the thing is, it weren't boys that were. Boys would kind of look on like, like kind of like thinking, like, you know, they wouldn't do anything about it. But then at one point, towards the end, one of the guys, you could tell that he was being kind of like, someone was cheering him. The girls were basically cheering on to like take a drink from my thing. So he wasn't going to do it off of his own back. He was only going to do it because the girls are there, and the girls have basically talked him or said like, oh, like go and take it. And then he feels like, yeah, I'm being bad now, so I'm going to go and try and take it. Like, it didn't seem, it's funny how I just find it interesting how the most, like, the girls in that situation were more menacing. Those teenage girls were more menacing than the teenage guys. Like, and, you know, that's like,
I think we
you know
also,
what I mean?
I think we also have to be very careful with, you know, saying things like, well, he did that because it's her fault. And I think that, you know, fair enough, you can influence people, you can like emotionally or manipulate people. I think both sexes do that to each other for whatever reasons. I think we just got to be careful of saying things like, oh, she got into his head and that's why he raped her. Like, that's where that conversation could easily go. We don't want to go there, but I think that we're all capable of emotional manipulation, because if you look at women, like, when we love, we're easily manipulated. That's if we care about you, like, deeply, and then that gets fucked with. That's why we get bitter, because you're dealing with something that is just like, it's emotions, and that's not something men have as much of. I just feel sometimes they just don't have as much.
Well, we're meant to be more logical. If we get too emotional, then we might not be able to protect like the, you know,
you can't do
camp,
but at the same time, imagine turning that power, that ability to be basically to protect. You have to be a kind of a murderous psychopath, like, get out of my way, I've got to protect these people, fuck everything, I've got to be fearless. Imagine taking that ability, this amazing gift that men have, and turning it on the women that they have to usually protect. That is when you get issues. That's when it's like you have this divine creature that can produce children for you, and you're fucking beating her and you're abusing her and swearing at her, like that's where
it's not every relationship is,
no, it's
like,
not, but but you know, I've seen this with women. I've seen women do it. I've seen, like, I know someone that's a woman that does that shit to her husband. So it's not, but you know, just statistically, that's that like, it's just more men that abuse women. That's just statistically, but it happens both ways. But I think it's because there's something very damaged in our patriarchy that is hurting boys. Like, you know, you look at the most sensitive men, and we can go back to astrology, like Cancer men. The reason why I told you earlier, Cancers are dangerous, because you're very emotional.
I'm Cancer.
Yeah, he's a Cancer, I'm an Aries, so I'm like the most masculine, you're the most feminine sign, but we're a boy and a girl. It's interesting. We square off. We're enemies, actually.
Okay.
But the Cancer men, you're very sensitive, and you're very like in tune, and you read people quite well, and you're very caring. Now imagine taking that, you know, amazing intuitive ability to be so loving and kind, and be an insecure man that actually gets, like, maybe in your childhood, like, you were punished because you were sensitive, or you were abused because you were like a pansy boy or some shit. That's gonna fuck you up. And in order to prove that you're not a pansy boy, or you're not like, you know, whatever, a poofda, whatever they made fun of you for, you become a toxic male and fuck as many women as possible. And how do you do it? You emotionally manipulate them, because you're a Cancer and you know how women think and you know what they want. That is why it's dangerous.
That's pretty like down one pathway then, like I can only go that way.
But no, you could be, I'm just saying that that's why you're so powerful and could be so dangerous, because you are so emotionally intelligent. Like, you are emotionally intelligent, and that's such a power that you can use it for good. Like, you can like love women, and like whether or not it's a casual experience, like just respect them after and before and during, like, you know, or you could turn that and just be like, right, I'm gonna use this bitch and throw away, I'm gonna use this bitch. Like, you have that ability. I hope you don't do the bad thing. I hope you do the nice thing.
A good person.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Virgos.
I'm an Aries, so I'm just selfish and just like, yeah, bye. You're hot. Hi, I'm gonna flirt with you, and then I'm gonna leave. Bye. Thanks for the cocktail. Aries.
Is that? Whoa, shit, that's my.
I gave him a good conversation, so he owed me a cocktail anyway. So it's alright. No.
See, that's the problem with women. Like they. Yeah, so that's,
Did
I
you
feel
have
like
a
that's
good time? Did you have a good time talking to me? Like, come on, why should I owe you sex just because you got me a drink? Like, are you gonna give me? How about you can give me love? How about you like give me forever?
It's too expensive.
How about like I'll give you children, and then I'll give you a home, and I'll cook for you every night, and I'll be barefoot and pregnant, give you everything you need. Just fucking be faithful, be nice to me, make sure that you have a steady job, make sure you love your mum. That's it. And be honest.
Yeah. It's a lot to ask for.
I'm willing to give more, like my body and my vagina, so you can have a child. I think that's a lot.
I mean,
if we were going to be a husband and wife, like, well, let's just sign up this contract. Like, so.
Salon's got the papers ready.
Yeah. No, but no, it's yeah. I'm just saying that, like, yeah, you're in, like, I think men do, some men are very blessed to be very highly emotionally intelligent, and then they're punished for it. Men are punished for being sensitive and being caring. And
Yeah.
That is.
So how has that come back to being the problem of the patriarchy then?
Wow.
Because that's because of how females have treated us in a certain way, which means that we have to react in a certain way. We can't be sensitive beings because we'll get punished.
How do women treat you badly for being sensitive? I was really good with my male students. I was like, it's good to cry. Like, I was really, like, I care about people.
Okay.
I don't know where this is going.
But let's imagine that. Well, that's a student, right? You're playing mum / teacher, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in the real world, like in a bar situation,
Been there
sensitive
too.
guy and guy who's gonna talk to you like shit. Which one are you going for?
Sensitive men can talk to you like shit. You can be ego. Like, if you're talking about like the confident man and the unconfident, non-confident man, you're gonna go for the confident guy. Like, that's the thing.
That's the thing. Well, a lot of the time, the guy might be the sensitive guy, and then you've got the arsehole. Well, the typical arsehole. But the arsehole just walks around and says, I'll take whatever I want, basically, and I'll talk with her however I feel like. And the girl usually says, I like his style. Well, meanwhile, sensitive guy is like, I just want to understand. I want her to understand.
Because you got to peacock a bit. Like, this is just, evolution. You got to peacock a bit. You got to wear nice shoes. You got to be like, got to have a good conversation. You got to actually, when you want to talk to me, I'm fucking smart. I have 2 degrees. I've traveled the world. Like, let's talk about something. Like, do you have an experience? Like, that's the thing. Like, if you've got a very cerebral woman, you're going to have to be very cerebral. If you're a superficial girl that only wants, like, the money in the cock, then that's what you got to have. Like, it just depends on who you're dealing with. So if you are, like, I don't really go to, like, I love a bar. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm Australian. Like, I can be a drunk, trashy hoe. But, like, generally, like, I really like going to places where I'm intellectually stimulated. So, I don't know, like, if a guy was coming to talk to me in a museum because he liked the same shit that I did, I'd be like, oh, sweet, like, let's be nerds, like, we're going to connect, So, it just depends on, like, what you're looking for. If you're just out looking for a fuck, and then the one girl that you're talking to, you don't really give a shit how she thinks or what she likes, or and you just want to bang her, and the end of the game is just to bang her, then if she's a very cerebral woman like me, she's not going to be interested. So it just depends on who you're dealing with and the setting as well. There's so many different factors, right? So, but generally, like, yeah, if we're going to talk like a non-confident guy and a confident guy, the confident guy, despite being an asshole, like, yeah, he's gonna get laid because he's peacocking and he's putting out more energy. And naturally, if you put all the arrows out there, you're bound to get the bullseye,
But then statistically speaking, then if you was to say the one who gets to put his seed in the woman, right, and make more babies, basically, it's going to be the arsehole. So, like, the sensitive guy might be able to, usually, like, he might get it in sometimes, but if you're talking about, like, statistically, it's going to be... Does
this sensitive man want to, like, be in love with me?
Well, if he's
does he want to have a conversation about ancient Rome with me? Because that would be nice. Like, can I have some men that could, like, talk to me about, like, nerdy stuff? Because that would turn me on. Depends on who you're dealing with, guys.
Well, so that's a lot of guys. Then a lot of nerdy guys out there that have been given a chance there, I guess.
You have other things as well, Like, you need other things, But
you just need the nerdiness, just the nerdiness.
Yeah.
Mythology. You need,
broad shoulders are nice. Yeah.
Broad shoulders.
Yeah. Loves his mum.
Yeah. A lot of tools there. Your energy levels are... If this is you tired, like...
No, like, I obviously, like, being, like, on the spectrum, you have to prep yourself up a bit and be like, right, I'm going into another social situation. How should I be polite? Be like, I have to do a checklist in my head a lot.
Well, but, like, your idea of being on a spectrum, right? Because it's... Slum, would you... Be honest, would you, if you met her, would you think straight away she's on the spectrum?
But you can't...
No.
No.
I don't think
yeah. You can't, it's not a visual thing, and a lot of women, like I said, women are socially clever.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of women that are on the spectrum, they're like, yeah, people are like, you don't seem autism, like, because it's not something you could... I think we're so accustomed to seeing boys that are weird and, like, glasses. I think that's what you perceive as, no, you can be a very dynamic person and be very gifted and be socially gifted and still have Asperger's. You can still do it.
I think there's a lot of people, a lot more people than we actually think that are on the spectrum. Like, a lot more people. But they haven't been diagnosed, so... Like you say, only the people that kind of looks down and you know, and can't speak normally. Like we think those are only autistic people. I mean, I met one girl actually on film set, and she was like normal-ish, but then she couldn't. She'd look slight down was like at your shoulder when she's talking to you, like she couldn't
look at you.
Can't do the looking at you in the eye contact. And she actually opened, she says, yeah, I've got like slight Asperger's or something, and like then you notice that eye line thing and you're like, oh okay, yeah, you know, you do have a
yeah.
Well, that's one aspect of it, obviously.
For her, really, yeah.
She could have just fancied you.
No, it was
Oh, if an autistic girl fancies you, you can fucking know. It's so awkward. It's just
she
like,
wouldn't be. Yeah, maybe the situation would be much more awkward. Yeah. But no, it was definitely like an eye. And the funny thing is, as well, annoyingly enough, I saw her again about like a couple of years later, and I recognised her. I was like, the thing is, and I had a real conversation. You know how sometimes on film set you might have like real long conversations with people, right? So you feel like, yeah, I know that person. I saw her again a couple years later. I was like, hey, and she was. For some reason, she was doing like the run-in on the film instead of being an extra, and I was like, "Hey, do you remember like we were on that film set?" And she gave me that look, that same look of to the side, not to my eyes again. And I was like, "No, you." And it sounds kind of odd me saying this, but
that would have freaked her out though.
What saying?
We're like, "Who are you over there?" And you're like, "What?" And I was like,
No. I came up.
Don't point an autistic person run towards me.
I wasn't. No, you know it wasn't even like that. I'll make it sound so awkward. She had the clip pad and she was signing people in. So I was like, wait, aren't you? We were on the film, so you were an extra. And she was like, no, I wasn't an extra. I was like, no. And then I basically came out with, I was like, no, you said that you had Asperger's. Right, that sounds quite bad saying that, but I needed to be like established. No, we definitely talked.
So there was no name you could have established with.
I couldn't remember her name. No,
it was her.
Yeah, it was definitely her. It was definitely 100%.
You freaked her out a little bit, going, "I remember you," and you're like, "Ah,
yeah, maybe
you were that guy." Like,
oh shit, I
remember you. Like,
but I do that to everyone. Like if that's a man, woman, if I say like, "No, man, we remember that time." Like,
but an autistic person was like, "What the fuck?" that would be a bit scary, but
yeah, I mean that's the thing with autism, right? There's a number of people that are just fucking interesting. They just purely like, and they don't possess those qualities of awkwardness. They just like really into what they do.
Yeah,
you know, that's
focused.
that level of autism.
They make good scientists. They make good mathematicians because they're just like, oh, patterns, numbers, measurements. Like their brain can get around it really easily. Yeah. Whereas social things are harder. So your brain's so wide for this amazing talent or this whatever. And then socially you're just shit. Like it's one of those things.
You don't seem like that. I mean, you've tapped in as well into something.
I had to learn.
Quite interesting.
You can learn how to be good socially. Like I used to think, oh my god, like I'm not very popular. I'm not very good. Like I keep ruining friendships. I'm not. And I used to watch YouTube channels on how to be charismatic, and I used to read up books because I love Marilyn Monroe, obsessed. Like that's my autistic obsession. Astrology and Marilyn Monroe. And I looked at like her life and how she like became friendly with the camera and how she, just like how she was charismatic because she's actually quite introverted and shy. Like how did she shine that way? And then by learning about charismatic people, I was obsessed with celebrities. I learned how to be charismatic and how to talk to people. But in terms of my everyday life, like it is really hard to have long-term relationships with men. Like it is really hard because I'm a bit special. Like I'm a little bit like I need help sometimes. Like I don't understand things in a relationship.
And like what?
Little nuances. Like I don't even know myself. I'm like, did I say the wrong thing? Did I do the wrong? Like I'm like, it's just very confusing. And there's so much anxiety when you're someone on the spectrum dating someone who's neurotypical, unless they really understand that you're going to have to be okay with the fact that I'm a little bit dysfunctional in certain areas, but highly functional others. Like it's just something you got to deal with.
But isn't that just a female, like in general?
I get very angry. Like if I'm really disrespectful, I get fucking fuming. I'm not someone that. This is another thing we've discussed. Like I feel like British women are just like, just do whatever you want to me. I'm just like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Fuck. Anyway, but like if they're in relationships, like, I get very upset. Like I get very argumentative. Like if I feel any way disrespected or made fun of, or like I can read things that might be offensive to me that they didn't mean to be. Like it could just get you know. But I am a good girlfriend. Like, I'm very, like, I feel like I have to dull down this weirdness in order for someone to accept me, which isn't really fair. So, like, here I go. I'm just, like, gonna be single because I'm weird.
But maybe you're not in enough weird places with enough weird people.
I know.
You know?
London's got way more weird people than me. Way more. Like, way more.
Than Australia, you mean? You said weird.
There's
more
weirdos
weird
in London.
Oh,
in
more
London.
weirder than you.
Yeah, in
Oh,
London.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, just fuck. You know.
Yeah, there's a bunch of.
Everyone's on drugs here. Like, everyone's on drugs.
Oh, that's the weird. That's not even the weird. That's like the fucked up kind of weird. 'Cause
Yeah.
What I'm talking about, the weird, like gamer weird. Like those people, like they're functioning.
Gamers?
Yeah, they're like functioning weird people.
That shit will. Okay. That shit will rot your brain, because I used to like teach kids. I taught kids like from what 2010 to 2019, like 10 years, and like just the way those things melt your brain. Sometimes I think you're not autistic. You just didn't develop because you've been on your video game since you were 3, and you don't.
True. Might be true.
No, it's true. Like, there were studies. I did an essay on this at uni. Like, I had to look at how technology has affected boys' emotional development, because boys I think boys need their own. I feel that sometimes they need their own curriculum. But
that would be an
interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah. So what was I going with this?
Well, there's boys' schools and there's girls' schools, and
Yeah.
there was that for a while, wasn't there? Like now we mix boys and girls together, but so
Yeah.
you're on a.
But yeah, what was I saying? Boys. What was I saying about boys in school? I was saying something about boys in school.
The game. Oh, they're frying their brain. The games.
Yeah. So I had to look at like boys' education was like a real like subject when I was studying teaching, and then I found that in my research, that if you have prolonged periods of gaming, like let's just hours, like thousands of hours that could have been spent learning how to like build something or socialize or learn or whatever. That energy is going into this video game, and you're literally rotting your brain. You're not developing new connections. You're not learning a new language. You're not learning how to socialize. You're not learning how to love. It's actually turning into a bit of a robot. And I think there's a problem with our generation of men in their 30s, and they're a bit emotionally mature, like very emotionally mature. And I think it's because video games have had a hand in that. I think pornography certainly has a hand in that.
Pornography is like a huge problem. That's like, it's definitely not spoken about enough. Like,
it makes everyone sick. It makes everyone sick, that stuff.
It's a proper sick. Like, it's not even that's like it's a little problem. Like, if you see the scale of what pornography has done, like to men in general, like it's actually quite.
They use it on soldiers though. Porn is paid for by governments.
Yeah, that's the thing. So like, I clocked this right. So like, you know how many views you get on those porn videos here? Let's just pretend like let's not pretend like we haven't seen it, right? So the views that you're getting on these videos, like they're like billions of views. When you think about that, and you're thinking a YouTube video like takes to get 1 billion views on a video. Remember when Gangnam Style hit 1 billion? Yeah. Like that's 1 billion views. Everyone was like, oh my god. But these porn videos are like there's billions of people are hitting these videos. Like it's crazy, insane. So you think how much money is going into that, and then like then we talk about how our brains are functioning and they've been changed by porn. It's like, of course there's not enough being done because this shit is making billions of pounds like a year. Like it blows my mind. Excuse the pun.
Yeah, no, it's such a toxic. Did you hear the story like the other day that all these sites had to shut down for a while because they had to clean everything out, and then the YouPorn and all of that, they've been fined millions of dollars and they're in trouble. They'll be fine.
I'll be alright. There's some. But
then you got in trouble.
It's like when they raid. It's like when they make these raids on.
It was kiddie porn. They were like disseminating kiddie porn.
Underage 18.
Yeah, like under 17, under 18. Yeah, that was disseminating
that's
that.
the legal thing. I mean, kiddie porn is that sounds.
That's kiddie porn.
Disgusting.
It's just like you're a child.
Yeah.
Like,
we had this discussion last time in Slough for a long time.
I don't care what you say. When you're 16, you're a kid still, innit?
16 is an age of consent in this country.
If I had a friend, like a guy my age, who started dating a 16-year-old girl, or even a 20-year-old girl, I'm like, bro, what the fuck's up? What? You can't fucking get a woman your own age that's as intellectual.
Wait.
I'm like, what the fuck? She's a fucking child. Like, I already had a mate, he's 31, I'm 32, right? And he was dating like a 19, 20-year-old. I was like, bro, what? He's like, she thinks just like me. She's 19. What do you mean she thinks just like you? Shut up.
But they might be in different places. Like their development might be
like school.
Yeah.
School, man.
Yeah, well, 19, right? You're at university. You're like a full. You're like a woman, basically. You're just without all the baggage and all the experiences that happen to women as they get older.
Yeah, like the traumatizing thing of dating an older guy that then it doesn't work out. That fucking traumatizes you. I think older partners can fucking traumatize you. They can, because you're so new and fresh and virginal, and you're like, I don't know the world, and then you meet someone who's older and they have a car and they seem so set up, and then they woo you and you're, oh my god, you're gonna take care of me, and then you get fucking dropped, or he's a dick, or like some shit happens and it just was like, I thought he was a what? So like these girls are like, they don't have the baggage yet, but that baggage is going to be created in that time. And if a 19-year-old girl has a man whose hand is laying on her that has no respect for her, whether it's sexually or being hit or whatever, like a man needs to lay his hands on you like you are the most precious thing in this world.
Let's get on.
That's why exploitation bugs me, because a 19-year-old girl should be made love to, not exploited.
All right, but wait. Let's get the male perspective on this, because all right, so like I say, there's a 31-year-old, right, and all the women that he's come across before, they're giving him shit, this and that. There always seems to be some kind of.
He got some good things. That boy.
Maybe he did. But let's just assume that he's got his life has just got maybe he had a few relationships and they haven't turned out, and this 19-year-old comes along, freaking fresh mind, basically like young body, everything that he needs, and she's not going to bring any of the baggage that the previous relationships. So he's like giving. This is amazing for him. Why would this be a bad thing? That's
such a male. That is the male perspective in it, isn't it?
That's true.
Because he's not thinking about. Wait, she's a really vulnerable person. She's a vulnerable girl. So I need to be respectful and mindful that she's a lot younger than me. She doesn't have as thick a skin as me. She's probably like you. I don't think these are thoughts like she's so young and hot. It's like she's a child, like she's a girl, like she's just fresh out, like she's a woman, but she's a girl in her head, she's in her heart, like she's a child. And I think that's the difference in the male perspective. I get it, like you want to root a fucking hot 19-year-old. I get it. I'm like, I've looked at some 19-year-old guys, I'm like, that's a handsome boy, like for sure. Bit baby face. I like men anyway. But I get it. Like you admire the beauty.
Then what would you say?
Oh my god, if he was 30, give it to me. But whatever. But I'm just saying that I get what you mean, but at the same time, like if you have a girl that's 19, let's take Prince Charles and Prince Di for example. Look what fucking happened to them. She bloomed, got hotter, moved up, and what is she gonna do? Because he's a piece of shit anyway. Cheats on him. Like, of course. Like, why not? Look at her. Look at how gorgeous she was. And when he got with her, she was 19, literally 19.
How old was he?
He was 32.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
And so and then you could see, like, because she was in love with him, like she never stopped loving him. Never. Even to the day she died, that's another conspiracy theory. The day she died, she loved that man. Even when they divorced, she fucking loved him. You know why? Because he was her first. That is how much damage that can be inflicted upon someone. And
maybe he liked her at the same time.
Oh,
and
no,
then he's 30, like you said, he was like 32. So maybe like around about 35, his brain was like, do you know what? I'm not really feeling this. Before you know it, he's
yeah. They had nothing in common. He's an intellectual. She's not. Like she was a very intelligent woman, but she wasn't an intellectual and a bookish person. She wasn't. He was.
She seemed quite smart when
she's socially intelligent. She was very socially dynamic. She was a Cancer. Oof.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, she was a Cancer. She was very socially dynamic, very feeling, very socially. She was more intelligent than he was in terms of understanding people and loving people and connecting. Like he didn't fucking have that. He's like family of psychopaths. I mean, they're British monarchy. Come on, guys, get together. Get it together. So so she was just so socially dynamic, and she was young and like literally a fucking virgin, innocent.
Was she?
Yeah, she was. She was 19. She was like never had a boyfriend before. Like all these men were testifying that she was a virgin because like everybody knew she didn't date anyone. It was kind of well known.
What a catch.
Why do women's what value have to depend on if their pussy's been broken? Like seriously.
No, I mean like for Diana, there's a thing with Diana because a lot of people around the world they love Diana and the memory of her because it's like more than
She's
just
pure.
her look. There was something pure about her. And
She's a good
when she
woman.
talked, yeah. So
Oh my god, but she was Cancer. She fucked around, guys. Like, she did cheat on her husband quite a few times. She was a human being. She's not this virgin whore thing. She is a woman who has sexual needs. Like, come on. Like,
with who? With Dodie, that
oh
other
my
girl,
god,
was
I
it?
bet she had a good time with that boy. She got pregnant. I mean, apparently.
That's why they killed her in the car crash.
Maybe. I don't want the queen to come for me, you know? Like, I don't want the queen to come for me.
I think there's a letter, isn't there?
Yeah, but no, like...
What did the letter say? Have you got a letter?
Oh, there was a letter. She wrote a letter 10 months
get the letter,
before.
please. What's the letter?
Get the letter.
I haven't heard this.
She wrote a letter saying that she feared for her life and that her husband... This is literally in her words. My husband is planning a car accident, broken brakes.
What?
Right.
No way.
She wrote this letter. It's in her handwriting.
No
it was
way.
submitted. I think it was. Yeah, it was submitted. I don't. Well, it was there. I don't know if it was submitted to court and they blacked out a lot, or. But it was. There's an actual letter that says that. So.
Ooh, that's dark. Well,
Yeah, you need to look this up. But anyway, we'll get.
If that's real. If that's.
I
real.
was just saying that, like, you could see how I think with an older man, let's say it's a 10 or 12 year age difference. I think it works when the woman's 30 and the guy's say 42. I think it's a much more even keeled like relationship. Whereas you have a girl that's just finished school and a man that's had 10, 12 years of life and all these experiences. And I think while it could be at first quite good, I'm not saying it can't work. I'm saying like there have been long-term relationships that were that age difference at that age, whatever. But generally, like that guy, that older guy that seems to, he's going to traumatize you because you're a child, you're a kid in your heart.
Everyone
with
needs a
boobies.
little bit of trauma though. Everyone needs a little bit of trauma. It makes them more developed. No?
Women don't like to feel in danger or traumatized. That's the thing. Please don't sneak up on women behind their back and go boo, because it makes us freak out and it makes us not have a hard on for you. Us feeling fear makes us not want to have babies and makes us not want to have sex. Like generally, if you're a healthy woman and you love yourself, you don't want a man to frighten you and you don't want to be hurt and you want to have security and you want to have you have self-esteem, so you want to have a good man, right? But generally, like if you're a guy treating you like shit, it's like if a man is rude to me, I get fucking pissed. I'm like, who the fuck are you? Like I get like I'm Australian, like I grew up in sunshine and good self-esteem generally. I mean, I'm working on it, but like generally, like I'm just like, no, like I'm not dating you because you are disrespectful. Like it's just one of the, I don't know, I'm in Britain, so it's different here. Like it's a bit different. Like I feel like people love being abused here.
I've never heard of that. Like
oh my god, I had enough English women come into my shop going like, oh but I love him, blah 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 blah. But I'm just like, oh, like all I'm hearing is, oh, he cheated on me, he's awful to me, he takes drugs, he doesn't have no boundaries, he tries to control my money, he's beating me, oh, but I love him and he just does it because he's messed up, and I'm like, dump him, red flag, red flag, red flag, and it's just everywhere. It's the culture, and then you, like, men here as well, I'm like, they're a bit babyish, like they need to be like they need
because we're being castrated, I think, personally. I think men are being castrated recently anyway, like. So we don't know what the right decision is to make, I think.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you're constantly, if a woman's got your balls in her hands constantly, then if he makes any kind of slight move,
that comment
it could be wrong.
Just then. I was like, oh yeah, power. Yes.
Well, yeah.
I won't squeeze him too hard, mate. Like.
Yeah. Well, it basically makes our decision making. We have to think twice. Wouldn't that make sense? If constantly, like the society that we're living in, well, it's my belief that men are constantly, you know, they're second guessing whether what they've done, because everything that they've done, so that they're doing or they've done previously is now this is a bad thing because of the patriarchy. We've messed it all up. We've done it in the wrong way. So, you know.
Well, I just think men, like in regards to like if we're talking about straight men, it should be everyone, straight women too, everyone who likes anyone. I think you should just think, well, if I'm gonna lay my hand on this person or if I'm gonna speak to this person, am I gonna do it with reverence because I respect them? And I think that is something that all people should ask themselves, and maybe we'd just live in a better place, right? But yeah,
it's a bit simpler. It's a bit of a simplified kind of way of looking.
Yeah,
at
it is
things,
very simple, and it is very simple. Simplicity is it.
Well,
simplicity in itself is complex.
I think a lot of people want to respect each other. I don't think that's the problem though. I think there's a lot more other complex issues that actually get in the way of people respecting each other.
That's why you got to simplify it and stand up for yourself.
Yeah, the
make it very
nurture
simple.
aspect of things.
If you're like say for example, right? Say if you're in a relationship and everything is all good, it's all nice and everything is wonderful. How does something like that turn into fucking two people shouting at each other and wanting to like take each other to court? Like time, and things happen. It becomes more complex.
I don't believe in marriage, so like that's one of the reasons why. Because you're with someone enough, they could drive you crazy, and you hate each other in the end. And I think everybody needs their space.
Sometimes, not always. You do get those stories about people who thick and thin.
Of what? Of people
who stick with each other regardless.
Yeah.
And how many of those people? Yeah. Let me just clarify this because
they work through it.
Work through it. Okay. How many people? This is what I swear I learned. Yeah, as I got older. Yeah, like those relationships.
Remember, this is what you learn, isn't it?
This is my perspective of what I've seen. Yeah. Okay. Those so-called relationships that have lasted so long. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Someone's pretending in that relationship. It's one or the other is pretending that it's all good.
And isn't that love?
No. Some of the elderly couples, I've talked to elderly couples before, and I was like, how do you make it work? And there was a period for like maybe 10 years where we just didn't have a great time.
10 years.
But then, there was a long time, like we worked through it. Some people, like it was a year or 2 years, whatever. There's always like a rough patch, you know? And I asked them, like, how did you survive that? And then we just wanted to make, like, in the end, we both just still wanted each other. Like, that was it. With even all the disrespectful things that was said and all the bullshit that was said. Because you say angry, mean things that you mean at the time, but you don't actually mean. Like, you don't actually want your partner to die. You don't actually want, like, fuck you, like, you just say it because you're pissed. But I think, like, you gotta, like, this is what it was told to me by elderly people. They just said they went through it. Like, they just got help and they got, or they just worked through it together and communicated better. Like, you have to both want each other, and when you want each other, there's a respect for each other, and when you approach each other with respect, even with a disagreement, you can work shit out. I'm not saying it's easy, but you can. And I think our generation is just very, like, I don't know if you're pessimistic about marriage. I am, but
I don't think marriage is thought about enough. I think a lot of people still jumping into it real quick into something, especially as, like you say, like, people. When you're like 20, your mind is a lot different to when you're 30. And if you're getting married as well, like at 22, like what you're a different person. You're a different person by the time you've reached 32.
Isn't that like a social status? To say that, I've managed to find something. I've managed to do something that most people haven't done. I made it,
Mum. I made it. I found my other half. I'm married now.
You can't attain the success by financial means sometimes. The success comes from the social relationship aspects. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, okay, I've seen this. I've managed to find my little spot in life with this person. And it's kind of like,
even if that person is, and everyone can see that person's a scumbag, or well, sometimes that person's, or you think that person, really, this is the person you're choosing to share your whole entire life with, like. This is through freaking thing. This is the person you're going with, kind of thing.
God, I've dated some shitty dudes. I'm sorry. I'm just like going through. I'm like, this was the person. I'm like, oh my god, that guy.
Is it? So is that?
I was in my 20s. Okay, it was a messed up time. That's why you don't get married in your 20s. Like, it was a messed up time.
But then, in a way, to bring the astrology back into, so is that the stars? Then do you think then that was always meant to be, or is that having its play? Like, does that have something to play?
If we just look at charts, like, you can see there's like certain things you can see where a love is fated and the love is within your control. It's how you make it work. Like, you have choices. Whereas some people are fated. So, like, if you look at a chart, it's the round thing. Everything on the right side, anything that falls on the right, any planets that fall on the right, that's what you're fated for. Anything on the left is what you're in control of. You have more agency. So some things you're fated, and some things you have free will. Okay. So you have a bit of both.
So how would one be able to get a reading from you?
Oh, you can go to my website, www.misscharlotteastro.com. So, yeah.
Michelle Charlotte.
Ms.
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 Oh,
is that Mrs.?
No, MS. MRS is.
After all that talk of marriage, I thought.
No, Ms. Yeah,
Ms.
Miss
Charlotte.
So yeah, let me spell it out. MSCHARLOTTEASTRO.com. Done.
Good.
Oh.
MsCharlotteAstro.com. And I have a shop in Camden Market. It's at L5. It's at the bottom. You know where it is, right?
Yeah.
You guys know. Yeah, it's in the Camden Market, Market Hall. Also, at the moment, can I just like plug Camden for a moment?
Go for it.
All right. Yeah, so you can get a voucher that's unlimited. And you just sign up on the Camden website, you get this voucher, it's a code, and you literally can go to pretty much any retail shop there and get half price on anything under £40. So you can do some Christmas shopping, get half price discount, come to my shop, spend it because it's good for me. Right? Or you just to help out the traders because they're having a tough time this Christmas. It's not the same Christmas that they've had previously. So
it's a good reason to go to you, basically, so we can get a voucher.
Get a voucher and you can spend it pretty much anywhere in Camden if it's retail. So I sell crystals and stuff as well, like fun little crystal things, but I sell mainly readings and so they can use it there. They can come to me.
How much are readings?
So at the moment, well, I do recorded readings. Some people, obviously I can't meet up with people physically anymore, so I do online, but a recorded reading is 15 minutes where I just tear apart your chart and tell you everything that I see. A 15-minute one's 25 and a 30-minute one is 40. And those are recorded readings just sent to your email. In regards to face-to-face online, so if you want a full hour, that's like 60. If you want some notes, it's like 80 something. You have to look at my chart, but look at my site because there's lots of different options for you. I would have like more higher end. I'm an affordable astrologer at the moment. We'll see when Taylor Swift calls, but at the moment I'm a very affordable astrologer and I'm good at it. And then I have the higher up price things because it's my time that I'm selling, so like obviously an hour is like quite a bit, but if you just want like a little mini reading, like £10, people walked in like, oh, can I do like 10-15 minutes? I'm like, sure, £10-15, £20, like a small amount, so you don't have to see me for an hour. If you just want to chat to me on my Instagram, I can do that too. And I do little free mini readings on my stories for placements. So if people just are like, I want to test out this woman, you can go to my Instagram, ms.charlotteastrology, and you can literally just participate in a free reading. And whether you believe it or not, you haven't spent any money, and it gives you a taste test. If you like it, then you feel like more secure to book something. Because I know getting into like psychic work, I'm not psychic, but getting into like the spiritual industry can be like, people scam you. So, I fully understand. That's why I give away little mini readings on my Instagram. So please check me out if you can.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think that sounds like a good way to wrap today's episode.
Yeah, this is fun.
Yeah, it was
You're
good.
nice boys.
This is a lot of fun. And we'll definitely have to get you back on another time. If there's anyone still watching, yo. So thanks for watching, people. And you've been watching Enter Your Passcode. I've been Shelley.
I'm Charlotte. Really right.
And our camera guys, Salon. Peace out.
This is not a porno, this is real life.